Hello, welcome to our channel.
Hello there.
Some people react so explosively that you feel as if you're in the middle of a crisis.
Okay.
But is that really how they feel, or is it just a way to control you? Before that, I should ask this. How can we recognize the behaviors of a hysterical person?
Yes, that's a good topic. First of all, the behaviors of hysterical people are actually very distinctive because, roughly speaking, they can overreact to many things. In fact, we are often surprised by these extreme reactions. At that point, crisis management and our emotional resilience become important. And in situations where we genuinely don't know how to appropriately respond, we tend to focus much more intently on them, aiming to gently calm and effectively soothe them.
How do we recognize the behaviors of a hysterical person?
We can roughly define the behaviors of a hysterical person like this, but to put it simply, here are a few things I can say. Their emotional reactions are again disproportionate. The lack of empathy becomes apparent. What I mean by lack of empathy here is this. Rather than focusing on how you feel, they are more concerned with how they feel and what they want. Naturally, I can say that in this case, they try to get what they want by manipulating you into an agitated state.
What could be the main goal of these people?
The main goal of these people is to maintain control. Because as long as they keep control, they can make others do what they want and, for example, sometimes avoid responsibility. For instance, if you ask them for something, they react excessively and say they can't do it. Or sometimes, when hysterical people are forced to take responsibility, they show physical reactions. Let me explain. Headaches, nausea, muscle spasms, trembling, and so on. Now, for us to understand that this reaction is a hysterical response, okay? We need to observe the following. When the responsibility is removed, those physical discomforts disappear instantly. We generally call these hysterical reactions. And of course, they constantly need attention and care. Let me give you an example. Let's say we did something for a hysterical person. So we gave a responsibility to a hysterical person, and physical symptoms of illness started to appear. They began to feel nauseous, experience dizziness, headaches, and so on. And when we take the responsibility back from them, they expect approval. Something like, okay, you don't have to do it, we'll take care of it. All right, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Actually, underneath all this, there's also a fear of being criticized and of failure.
Is a lack of empathy at the root of hysterical behaviors?
It is. But here, the reason for the lack of empathy is this. They experience their own emotions so intensely, especially negative emotions. Things like anxiety, panic, worry. They can't even focus on other people's feelings. That's why their reactions are so strong. For example, let's say you made plans to meet up with a friend, you're supposed to go out, but something else came up during the day and you told them, sorry, we have to postpone. You said, sorry about that. Now here's how someone with a hysterical personality would respond in this situation. Fine, it's not like I matter anyway. Everyone has more important things in their lives. I'm worthless. And so on. They start saying things like this. Now, these are completely lacking in empathy. When you look at it, these are agitated responses. So, what are they doing there? They're trying to manipulate you. They're also reacting as if your behavior made them feel utterly worthless. Normally, in situations like this, most people tend to respond in a certain way. Let's say those who are being manipulated. No, it's not like that. You're important to me, you matter. They respond with things like this. That's when the hysterical person has you right where they want you. All right? If I'm so important to you, then why won't you meet up with me? Well, of course, these are immature reactions because there are many things that are important in people's lives. I mean, no matter how important we are to others, people have other aspects to their lives as well. They have responsibilities, jobs, and so on, and other friends too. So, when it comes to a lack of empathy, we can actually highlight this a bit.
They are so focused on themselves that they can't focus on their surroundings.
Attention, 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 and always approval. Even if they make a mistake, if you criticize them, you'll be met with extreme reactions.
So, what should we do? How can we protect ourselves from these people?
Actually, it's very exhausting. I mean, constantly having to praise them, approve of them, adapt to them, it means sometimes making too many compromises in your own life. Naturally, it's a draining and exhausting process. So when you distance yourself or put them in second or third place, you end up facing intense manipulation and emotional reactions. Now, in situations like these, we need moments of crisis to determine how hysterical people will behave towards you. Here's what we're going to do in these situations, okay? We'll simply reflect the emotion. What do I mean by that? For example, yes, you're very upset right now. I understand because we couldn't meet up. But there's nothing else I can do. For instance, emotional reflection, reflecting the emotion. You look very sad, I understand. That much of a response is enough. Or using I statements. We can express to them how they should treat us by using I statements. For example, if you react excessively when I ask you for something or when things don't go your way, I have to distance myself from you. Because the thing that hysterical people fear the most is others distancing themselves from them. Why? Otherwise, who will they get attention and approval from? If we consistently and diligently apply these kinds of positive and constructive behaviors, their inherent tendency to adapt and adjust to our expectations and methods will significantly increase over time. Because of my profession, I also sometimes had clients who displayed hysterical reactions. In fact, with one client, for example, we could spend an entire session just on this. She also had an obsession with cleanliness. At the same time, she could spend an entire session sobbing and telling me about how her parents used her freshly washed laundry and put it on top of clothes that were supposed to go in the dirty pile. What they really need in those moments is simply to be understood. I mean, you can't always do exactly what they want. For example, I wasn't responding like this in those moments. Yeah, how could they do that? Don't they value you at all? The things you care about, your boundaries, mean nothing to them. These kinds of reactions are absolutely not what should be done, especially when dealing with hysterics, because you end up reinforcing their negative emotions. In other words, they become even more resentful toward the person who acted that way, and their negative feelings intensify. That's why we should use I statements. I understand you, but I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can do. There's just nothing else I can do. You are valuable to me. They will reject that. No, if I were valuable, no, you are valuable to me. Keep talking like this. Or, you can use I statements. When you react to me like this, it pushes me away from you. In other words, reflect to them how you feel.
Is the child really suffering, or are they just trying to claim their share of being right and move into your space as well?
They are really suffering, because with hysteria, the situation is a bit like this. They experience their emotions very intensely. The physical reactions, like dizziness, nausea, are things that arise from negative emotional states caused by stress. If that weren't the case, those physical reactions wouldn't happen either. So we can't say that they are manipulators like narcissistic individuals, but they do know how to use this well to get attention.
When you encounter a hysterical person, instead of trying to change them, remember your own strength. Sometimes the greatest resistance to emotional storms is being able to maintain your own inner silence.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for listening to us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, and leave a comment.
Yes, let's meet in the comments, please. We often encounter these kinds of reactions in people. Surely you have had such experiences as well. We want to be able to help you even more. See you!